Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. So today I have a very nice and short, maybe not so short video about a project that I've worked on PHP and especially Symfony. And the project is about the backend of an anonymous system. So without any further delay, let me show you how it works, and then we will also have a look how I built it very quickly, of course. And it's a very nice project. And the good thing is that I've used, of course, generative AI to help me ramp up very quickly because I've now been working on PHP for a while now and even more time on Symfony. I think my most recent experience with PHP was with Laravel. I can't remember which version though. So let's begin. This is a quite nice extension, by the way, that you can use. I like using it sometimes, but not when I am working on tough programming situations. So let us start. Let me show you how it works. Let's run the project. So to run it, we have several ways you can use. So I will quickly share with you how to install Symfony. By the way, very quickly. One, you just need to install PHP. So you have multiple ways to do that. I think the simplest one is just it to Markdown. Yeah. So this one I've used the latest version. I think it's 7.2. It's 7. It's very late 7. So you need to install PHP. So the best way to do this, in my humble opinion, is using install that. So just a few clicks, and you have a lot of stuff. You will have, for example, you will have PHP my admin. You will get also a lot of things like Composer. You need to install it separately, and you also need to install the Symfony command line. You don't need to do it actually, but you can use it because I think when you use Composer, you can access Symfony directly. But I've installed Symfony, and it's very easy. So you just same you get Apache and MariaDB. Actually, I would have written MySQL, but it's really MariaDB. So to install, to install basically, so you copy, you just download the exec exec4. You just download for first. For time for Composer, so it's on the website. For Windows, I'm using Windows right now in Symfony. Then just add them on the path. So this should be yeah. So just add them in the path. It's very easy. Just open your settings, your environment variables options, and just start with that. It's very straightforward. Okay, that's one thing. And now once you install it, so the how to run the code. So maybe I should have it on the README because my README file. Oh, I actually don't have a README file. So maybe I should have a README file. Let's convert this to a README file, something like that. README. Yeah. So there are multiple ways, of course, of writing README files, but let's just take it. So yeah, readme.md. I think it should be capital. I'm not sure, but let's just put it capital right now. I have now the file, but it's in the wrong place. So let's just move it to here. Move, please. Yeah, so it's here. Just a few clicks. We install it, and so how to check if everything is working. fine. So you can first run your blank, get Apache, MySQL or MariaDB. Then you can use composer on your CLI. The same for use Symfony. So it's very straightforward, Symfony on CLI. So even for Windows, it's straightforward. I would believe it will take you no more than 5 to 10 minutes to install all of that. And you can also use Docker, by the way. If we have some time, we might have everything on Docker set up with a Docker Compose file. And it's very easy, actually. I don't even think you need to do anything. You don't even need to compose it by yourself because there are actual dozens of images for Symfony for the latest version. And there are those versions without them. Right now I'm using them, but there are certain versions without them. So I will start them right now. So here we have them. This looks like quite an old version, but I thought I installed the latest version. But no worries, I will start Apache. I will start MySQL. So in reality, we are using MariaDB. I will show you this is the end. Yeah. So this is the env file that is generated or created when you create a new project, and it has the ports for MariaDB, and it has the database name, and so on and so forth. So this is just like basic work, it's all in it, so that's good. That's one thing. Let's put that out. Let's remove this, and yeah. So here's a bit about the README. Now you can start your project. Start project. Launch, Apache, and SQLite on them. Okay. So you can do the database using PHP admin. So there are two ways of proceeding with a project. One is code first, one is database first. So you can create your database, you can create all the columns. I think with tools like phpMyAdmin, it's very easy to do so, but you have dozens of other tools, and many of them are free and very powerful, like ADSQL, but AD is just for Windows. So you can do the same thing with all these powerful tools, and then you create the code on a second step. Or you can use the ORM approach, whereby you generate the classes, or via command lines. You have command line utilities that enables you to generate entities. And with that, you can also scaffold controllers and services. Depends on the tools you're using. I think for Symfony, you can do all of that. We will see later. If we have time, obviously, because it's just an introduction. So that's how it works. If you're using Docker, it's even simpler. You just need to download the image and run it. It can only be a bit trickier when you're using, when you need to change the Docker file, but I don't think it's really that important. So let's move on to the next point, which is, let's run the project. So to run the project, well, there are two ways. I usually like the Symfony, using the Symfony CLI tool. Let's see if server stop. Let's see if we have any server that is running. I stop them. The server is not running. So I don't know all the command line by heart. Status. It might be status, yeah, or it's directly. Because you know, when you change versions like 6 to 7, I don't think there is a lot of changes, but a lot of companies or agencies, they still use Symfony 5. And between 5 and 7, there's quite some difference. And I realized that when I was working with documentation that was meant for version 5.x. And when I tried them, I didn't really know the big difference actually. But when I tried them, there was quite some annoying differences that could be easily solved if I used the correct version. So yeah, it looks to be working. Symfony. So yeah. So no, yeah, it's server. I just mentioned about this Symfony. So you can also use an alias like put it S and SA, for example, or SS Symfony Start server. So you can also use a local server, you call proxy. You can also use SSL locally. So there are so many ways to do that. For example, here I'm using Symfony execute. I executed it normally, but you can also install all of that and it will just give you TLS support. You even have a SSL support. There are so many things that you can do right off the bat without having to write a single line of code. So we got all of that. Now I will start Postman. So Postman is a good tool for writing and testing APIs. But for me, it has some issues. Let's say that you have a previous version of this of Postman, and you update it, then you lose your collection. So, and this one is lightweight API. I need to sign in and do a lot of stuff, so I don't really want to do so because it's not the scope of this video. So, the aim here is that I want to have an anonymous a website whereby I can post anonymous reviews, anonymous feedbacks. So let's say I went to a restaurant and I was very satisfied with their service. I made some friends there. And normally, as human beings, it's quite tough to say to them that, yeah, especially if you're friends with them, yeah, this wasn't good, X wasn't good, and so on and so forth. So one way I believe to resolve this, because feedback is very important. Let's say in a situation, everyone was in a haste and the restaurant forgot to give me, for example, forks and spoons, so that when I went to eat somewhere else, I didn't find them, and it was an issue. So maybe they need to improve that process, and there are several ways of doing that. But feedback is very important because they have this blind spot and they don't really know. Maybe they know, but since they're in a haste, since they have so many other priorities, it's difficult for them. So that's one thing that can drastically help them. I've seen this all the time, everywhere, not only in the restaurant, hospitality domains, but even in IT, in management, and so on and so forth. Knowing how to give the proper feedback is really life-changing. This is how the concept of agile is designed to work. You build something, you get some feedback from that, you improve at each iteration. So let's start with, this project is simply CRUD for different entities. So we have a visitor, since it is an anonymous feedback as a person. So we don't really, there are so many questions of how to do that, but we don't create an account, we don't keep the username and the username and email or anything else. So there is no really any validation, any auth required. So it's quite nice as well. We don't need to implement auth, but I've had a look with the Symfony's documentation, and it's very straightforward. If you want to add auth as well, login pages as well, if you're using the MVC approach. So it's all good. And for me, it's just you visit on the site, we are going to save the IP, but even the IP right now is just not even a proof of concept, not even an MVP, just a basic idea to do something. And the MVP itself, no, this project, like we save the IP. I will show you right now how it works. Let's say we have businesses, we have three entities: visitors, business, and the feedback. So the businesses, they are all generated using factories data. So it's taking some time right now. So no worries about that. I don't know why it's taking some time. Let's just check it out quickly. Yeah. So there might be some issues with the as often as it happens, there might be some issues with what's happening with the database. So it works. I don't know why it took some time. So we have different businesses here. I use fixtures and a library called Faker to just generate it. I will show it quickly. So this just to give you an idea how it works. So we have our businesses, then we have, let's see if we have some feedback. Let's get visitors first. So we have our visitors as well. So we have a visitor, we have the IP address. So normally it depends on legislation if we are supposed to keep this information. Of course, at some point we need to show the cookies that, yeah, we are going to save your information. And of course, right now I also put a user agent. So this part has been generated. The heck. So this part has been generated by Faker. So that's just a way to try to make the experience as unique as possible. But obviously, if you want to, at this point, there are so many ways to do that. And we can even use the blockchain technology to do that. But it's out of the scope, obviously. And so we just need to, you can do an anonymous feedback only once for a business. That's it. This is a very basic idea, but you can just carry it very, very far. You have, for example, Yelp, which is a website that enables you to do reviews. I'm not sure if you can do it not anonymously, that is. Yeah, you can do it anonymously. I'm not sure if not you can do that. So for feedback, how it works, very simple. You put your feedback and it will just show you. So here, something I really like with Symfony is I use the many to one attributes, and it just gave me this when I query. It's just linked feedback is many to one to visitor. So it means that a visitor and a business. So a business can a feedback can consist of many business of a business and a visitor, but it can be any business, can be any visitor. But they should appear only once. So I'm not sure if I put all the business logic. It is interesting. I think I need another video to explain it really clearly because we are already past 17 minutes and it's getting more and more interesting right now, but I have a lot of other things to do as well. Okay, you see like content, for example, so I've used Faker to generate the content because it's just fixtures to have some starting data to work with. But in the content, you can say something like, hey man, your menu was cold, your food was cold, and you had us waiting too much. So now you need to also build an admin side with for the businesses with a proper auth, and these businesses can see these feedback, and they can even, you can put some stats, you can even use some I don't know, maybe ML, not really machine learning, or some algorithm, simply set some algorithm to know which of the feedback you're getting most. For example, which words are appearing most or in what context, and you can group them by, let's say, the biggest complaint that you get is something like, waiting time is too much. So most of the places where you go at peak time, you're going to wait a heck of a lot of time. So maybe if you get this more, and you can even improve it. Improve it in the sense that you put the time and date, the date and time that this visitor went to the restaurant, for example, to get the service. So this can also we use algorithm in behind, and they can just know, it's not even algorithm, just write some simple codes, some queries to get the time that happens, that this kind of complaint happen most, and it will give you, for example, Saturday at 8 o'clock, we had a lot of complaints, and with that, the organization can quickly improve their services. So this is basically the project. Right now, I will just quickly share the structure, but maybe we will do it in another video. I will also, this video is private source. It's a private repository on GitHub, so I will make it public, and I will also push this README file. It's quite strange. There was no README file right off the bat. And I was also planning to do a front-end application using Vue.js. Actually, we can make it in any of the famous or popular or uprising technologies. You can also use Astro for that, and any other technologies actually. So for me, I would use Vue because it's quite easy, but you can also use Angular, the latest versions, Angular, which uses signals. You can also use the latest React version, which seems to be much simpler nowadays. But not only that, you can use anything you want. The front end, you can also use Flutter or React Native for the mobile version, or even the native ones like Swift and Kotlin, Java Android. So all in all, that's just a bit about the project, and I think very soon we are going to have a part 2 whereby I show you how I've coded the code, how you can do the same, and there might also be a blog post associated to that. And at some point, if there's some traction on this project, because why not? In Mauritius, we don't have any such kind of app, and it will be great, to be honest, especially in the domain of restoration and small businesses. I think it would be perfect. But not only in that, you can apply it in a lot of places. And yeah, the scope itself is huge. You can even add like reviews and ratings and reviews for both users, so another entity users. It depends how to structure all of that in the backend. But that's a bit about this project. See you later for the second part. If you have any question, do send me. And if this is an interesting video, an educative one, please do subscribe and follow if you've not done so yet, and share with your friends if you think that this video can help them. So thank you. See you later.